Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and I am also a doctoral student of psychology. Today, we are going to go over the topic about an avoidant and their regret for losing you, typically after a relationship has already been dissolved. Now, I think a lot of individuals have some misconceptions about this topic, and that is actually what inspired me to make this video. Now, among all things, the main way to understand how an avoidant regrets losing you is how you left and how the relationship was. A lot of people think it's just the act of leaving. That is not what makes anybody, especially not avoidants, regret losing you. Now, I personally believe it's best that if you leave when you genuinely want to leave, not because you think you're going to get a reaction. However, that is your choice. And I think there is a situation where some of y'all genuinely left, and now you're wondering if your ex even regrets losing you or if there's a chance of getting back after time has passed. So that is why I'm making this video, okay? So again, as I said, typically with avoidance, it is not the act of leaving that makes them regret losing you. I'm telling you, it is not. While it can be, it is only a contributing factor. And the main factor is how you leave, what you were like when you left, and who you were like throughout the relationship, okay? It's how you behave in basically an emotionally charged situation in general. It doesn't even have to be leaving, right? Arguing, disagreeing, not getting your way, and even leaving. How do you act in those situations? That is the main thing avoidants look for. If you guys watch my videos about testing, you know that that's one of their tests anyways. Why is that so important to avoidants? Because they know they don't react very well in emotionally charged situations and they don't feel very safe. And so if you behave in a way where you're managing your emotions, you're still clear, you're still direct, you're still compassionate, overall, most likely your partner does in fact regret losing you. But what are those very specific things that you probably have done before you left and during you left that really will help you know that your partner regrets losing you, so that at least you guys can get some closure? Even if you guys don't get back together, I still think that you deserve closure, and that's why I'm making this video for you, okay? And so the very first one is that you left after trying many, many, many times, often giving them plenty of opportunities to change, and they just didn't. Now, why is this? To me, it's one of the most important. That's why I put it first. Why is this so important? Because you didn't leave because you weren't getting your way. You didn't leave because you were just frustrated and emotionally charged. You weren't playing games either. You clearly tried. Did you not? I mean, you gave them many chances. You gave them opportunities to change, and they did not. And it's clear that you're a patient person. So avoidant individuals like patient people. So then why didn't they change? Well, that's their problem, I suppose. But it really does show that they regret losing something that they want. You're patient, you're kind, you gave them opportunities, and it just didn't happen. And so what happens if this occurs and this is the reason you left? I'm going to be honest with you, more often than not, they want to get back with you and show that they've changed. And this is a genuine reason, right? A lot of people think if an avoidant is reaching out again, or you can see signs of regret, that they don't want to get back together. That's not true. Many of them really do regret the opportunity. Now, often, especially with younger avoidants or who are less aware of their attachment issues, they don't realize what they did in that relationship. They didn't realize how frustrated you were. To them, I'm just being honest with you guys, they don't realize like how frustrated and how close you were to leaving. Like they just didn't. They thought you were just complaining. Or sometimes they even think maybe they told in their mind that you're being too much or too emotional. And then when you actually left, they realize, wait a second, he or she is serious? Oh my gosh, like I didn't know. I thought you were just picking on me. I thought you were just complaining. I thought you were just criticizing me. I was actually doing something that's bothering you so much you'll leave me? Oh, never mind. Let me fix myself. Let me get them back. If that's the reason and you're seeing your partner kind of express these things and you do want to get back with them, I think it's an opportunity to try again, because they are usually genuine when it comes to this, okay? The next one is another one very common and very strong in regrets for avoidance, is you left with respect and set clear reasons why you want to leave. You didn't say, I'm leaving because you're not like my best friend's boyfriend. I hope you didn't say that. You probably said something more like, I still care about you, but I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I can handle this anymore. I've asked you plenty of times. I've waited so many years for things that I know is not a lot to ask for. And I understand that it might be a lot for you. And I realize that I don't think I can let it go. I've tried to let it go. I've tried to believe that our relationship can make it without me receiving some of those things. I did try. That's why it took me so long to leave you, because I do care about you. And I believe that we could make it work, but I'm starting to realize I don't think I can have a relationship where you're not doing X, Y, and Z. And because of that conclusion, I think that I do have to leave, and I'm sorry, right? So you brought it up in a way where you were clear, you're respectful, you were honest. You didn't call them out. You didn't say, if you don't do this, or you never do X, Y, and Z, or I'm leaving because you're crazy. You didn't say any of those things. You said from your genuine self how you feel. And a lot of people actually, what I believe and what I see when I'm practicing is anxious, preoccupied, and fearful avoidance. They feel that way if they're fearful, leaning, anxious, right? And when I'm talking about avoidance, I'm talking about dismissive or fearful, leaning, dismissive. With almost literally all of my videos. But anyways, typically anxious individuals and fearful, leaning, anxious, they feel that way, the way I just translated it. But sometimes they're afraid to say it like that because it's hard for them to recognize that that's how they feel, first of all. But sometimes it's like they feel like they will not be heard if they say it like that. They feel like they have to say it much more emotionally charged. Otherwise, they're not going to be heard because they're used to, from their version of neglect, their parents did not hear them. And if you're fearful avoidant, so many fearful avoidants have been through so much forms of trauma, abuse, foster care systems. Fearful avoidants have been through a lot. So if you're a fearful avoidant, I am but anybody, any attachment issue, I'm so sorry for your childhood. But you didn't learn to communicate like that. So often it's hard to communicate like this. But if you did, or even if you tried a little bit, I promise you it lands much better with avoidance than screaming or shouting or getting angry. And usually what happens with this particular one, the one we just mentioned, I gave you that example, the avoidant individual might even fight for the relationship. They might say, I didn't realize it's that much. Like, I'll try, like, we'll try again, or I really will try, or I said I'll try. Sometimes they say, I said I'll try, even though they didn't, but it's like a knee-jerk reaction. Like, I said I'll try because they're in denial. They don't want to lose you. They're afraid. So sometimes you might actually see them try and stop you from leaving if you say it like that. And it's up to you, but I personally find that when I'm working with patients, like couples, sometimes they try to break up in session. Yeah, really weird for the therapist. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to do? But I do my best, of course. But sometimes you got to watch them navigate it. As a therapist, you got to watch them navigate. And what I see almost all the time as I'm watching them have a conversation like that, believe it or not, the avoidant will say, hey, like, what's going on? I don't want you to leave. Like, I didn't realize it was like that. Like, if that's really what you need, I'll really work and do it. And they mean it. I promise you they mean it. They're like, I'm in therapy right now, particularly for therapy sessions. But in general, they don't even have to say that. Let's say it's outside of a session, which I can't observe, but y'all do, right? If any of you have been in this experience, you might want to mention it in the comments so other people understand. Yeah, sometimes avoidance will say, no, like, we're still doing this together. Like, let's try and fix this. And they do try. So it gives them a chance if that happens, by the way. The next one is that you didn't call them names or insult them or compare them in that conversation, right? You didn't say anything against them. In fact, you barely said anything about them at all. You talked about yourself, right? You did not disrespect them, and it was towards yourself. You did not call them names. You did not come in the conversation emotionally charged, but you said, this is something that I'm noticing about myself. I'm realizing this is how I feel, and I don't think I can take it anymore. And I do care about you, but I'm concerned because I've worked so hard to try and make it work, and I still am not able to let go of this desire. I feel all that I want is that you would text me once a day. And I try to be okay with you texting me once every couple days, but I'm not sure I can. And so because of that, I think that it's best we go our separate ways. What's your perspective? How do you think? Because I really feel like I don't know if I can do this, right? So you didn't say anything against them. You're talking about yourself. You were not emotionally charged. if you leave like that, avoidants, of course, they regret losing you. Sometimes they don't even want to have the moment of losing you. They're trying to get you before you even walk out the door. And the very last one, which I see this a lot when I'm working with individuals, and like I have, usually I'm working with the avoidant and they have an ex that does this to them. And the avoidant individual says every time that she or he does this, I love them less and I'm less likely to want to be with them. And it's this. Avoidants, they don't like this. And so I'm going to tell you the opposite of it. They don't like when you tell them never contact me again, right? Because some people say that because they're emotionally charged, they're angry. So if you don't say that, you don't mention anything about don't ever contact me again, don't ever see me again, that is obviously avoidants are going to regret losing you because you still left the door open. You didn't say one way or another. You didn't tell them, hey, don't ever contact me. Don't ever, look at my face again. You didn't say that. You left it calm. You left it peaceful. Okay. And so those are the 4 ways that you can behave or you have behaved when you left or when you were hurt. And that really makes an avoidant regret losing you. So if you guys are curious, I hope this helps a little bit. And if anybody wants more videos like this, because it's a little different than the typical videos I make, but this one was highly requested. If you want more videos among this type of wheelhouse, let me know and I will do that for you, okay? Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.